23 minutes past the top of the hour. So glad to have you with us. Hopefully you can hang out with us for a little while. We're going to open up the phone lines here shortly, but joining us live is Allie Tower. She's a follower of Jesus Christ now. But boy, I tell you what, she really quite literally went to the dark side. She's a former witch, and she's unpacking her story, and I so appreciate the fact that she's willing to do that. She's written a couple of books, Taken from the Night, and also From the Craft to Christ. So, Allie, let's pick up here. You were in the midst of this difficult marriage. Did the marriage end in divorce?
Yeah, we ended up, after time, it was definitely over a period of time, because we did try to work things out for a long time, but it just, wasn't working that way.
Okay, so here you are in the midst of all this. You're disillusioned. You felt abandoned by God as you were trying to live a godly life. What was it that really pushed you into or encouraged you to embrace the supernatural in the form of Wicca and witchcraft? What do you remember that moment?
Yes, I do. I actually was in a really desperate place, considering everything that was going on in my life. And I was literally on my living room floor, and I was ready to just give up because I really felt that, God had abandoned me and I was all alone and nothing was working right. And I was just ready to just give up. And there was a book on the shelf that actually my husband at the time had brought into the marriage, and I had never had any interest to read it, but all of a sudden this one day it just kind of almost fell out in front of me, and I picked it up and began to read it, and it was actually Mike Warnicki's book on the Satan Seller.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to read it. It's a Christian book. It's supposed to, tell you about how he became a Christian after having been a Satanist. But
yeah.
I can say honestly that when I read the book, I sat down and started to read it, that I just got an entirely different feel out of it, and I felt as though it wasn't truthful, and there was things that I wanted to prove. And considering I was in just a really messed up place spiritually, and doubting the Word of God anyway, it was not a good combination. I went to the library and I began to research and pretty quickly narrowed it down away from Satanism or anything of that nature. And I stumbled upon Wicca, which to me just absolutely sounded wonderful at the time. It was a religion that was talking about harmony and peace with all of nature and all mankind. And to me, that's what I was really searching for, was peace, because my life was just a complete mess at that time.
See, a lot of people don't realize that the allure of witchcraft is something maybe different than what we expect. We picture witches caricatured, of course, riding brooms and things like this, and yet the Wicca religion is very different in its presentations. However, it's evil, bottom line, isn't it?
That's correct. It seems like it's such just a really wonderful place to be. When I first started to read about it, it was just like, wow, this is everything I've ever wanted or looked for or expected to have. And there's power but it's supposed to be for the good. So, whatever you need or want in your life, any changes that you want to make, there was, it was at your fingertips. You could go for it, and you could do it yourself.
Why do you think there's a great attraction among young girls when it comes to Wicca? It seems like when you look at the statistics, this really seems to attract a lot of preteen and teenage women. I mean, what is up with that? What is the appeal for them?
I think there's, several things. One, of course, is the fact that it's very much, there's the emphasis is on the goddess. So there are a lot of women or young girls who, feel that their part in society is the weaker part, or, not quite as important as a male's role.
Yeah.
And so, it's that striving to be important, to make a difference, to be somebody.
Hmm.
And I think that that's part of it, certainly part of it. And the other is the fact of wanting to make changes in your life and not rely on anyone else, and
Yeah.
to have the the power to do that.